Please don't blink. I will use 5 minutes to take you through the key measures of the Good House series to prevent leaks and mold. The 10 construction procedures for the concrete upstand in the bathroom. The first construction procedure: chiseling the original concrete surface at the main structure. According to Article 9.1.6 of the Code for Acceptance of Construction Quality of Masonry Structures. In rooms with water such as kitchens, bathrooms, and washrooms. When using lightweight aggregate concrete small hollow blocks or autoclaved aerated concrete blocks to build walls, a cast-in-place concrete upstand should be constructed at the bottom of the wall, and its height should be 150 mm. What needs to be emphasized here is that when the concrete upstand cannot be formed at the same time as the main structure, chiseling must be carried out on the original concrete base layer. When the upstand cannot be cast together with the main structure at one time, a construction joint will exist at the junction of the new and old concrete. This interface is prone to forming a weak layer, leading to water seepage, cracking, and even structural separation. The purpose of chiseling is precisely to eliminate this hidden danger. It can remove the latence and soft layer. The latence has low strength and poor adhesion. Chiseling can completely remove it, exposing the solid coarse aggregate inside. The rough base surface formed after chiseling will significantly increase the contact area and mechanical interlocking force between the new and old concrete. A good bonding surface can ensure that the concrete from the two castings works together, avoiding cold joints and improving the overall structural waterproof performance and durability. The chiseling depth should be controlled at 5 to 10 mm. And the density of the pockmarks should reach 600 to 800 points per square meter. The chiseling rate must not be less than 90%, and more than 1/3 of the coarse aggregate must be exposed. Chiseling should be carried out at the junction of the upstand and the wall base layer. The second construction procedure: cleaning the chiseled surface of latence and debris. A good house must achieve the 6 no's. I also call it the 6 musts: no leaking, no cracking, no noise, no blocking, no smelling, no mold. The third construction procedure: applying a release agent. A high-quality release agent can form an effective isolation layer between the formwork and the concrete, avoiding adhesion during demolding and preventing defects such as pockmarks, missing corners, and honeycombs on the concrete surface, ensuring a smooth, flat surface with clear edges and corners. The fourth construction procedure: arranging positioning steel bars. Its core function is to accurately control the position of the formwork. The fifth construction procedure: installing the demolding-free integrated insulation board. The demolding-free integrated insulation board is used for the exterior wall part. This is also one of the key measures for a good house. The construction method nodes for thermal insulation do not overlook any detail. The sixth construction procedure: erecting the formwork. The erection of the formwork strictly prohibits the use of iron wire tie rods or through-wall tie rods for fixing. Clamps or top bracing should be used for reinforcement. This can cut off the seepage path. The seventh construction procedure: setting up concrete top bracing. This is a key measure to ensure the cross-sectional dimensions of the concrete upstand. The eighth construction procedure: reinforcing the concentrated stress positions of the formwork. Although it is a small-volume concrete casting, the improvement in quality comes from the control of every detail. Therefore, every factor that may cause quality hazards must be deeply analyzed from the source and the governance plan optimized. The ninth construction procedure: watering to moisten the base layer. Before casting the concrete, water the base layer to moisten it. This is mainly to prevent the base layer from excessively absorbing moisture from the concrete, affecting the hydration reaction of the cement, which would lead to a decrease in concrete strength and cause problems such as cracks or surface dusting. At the same time, it can also enhance the bonding force between the new and old concrete layers. The 10th construction procedure, casting the upstand concrete. Now, let's discuss what the height of the concrete upstand in the bathroom should be. Is it 200 or 150? The Code for Acceptance of Construction Quality of Building Ground Engineering clearly stipulates that its height should not be less than 200. It is, should not. However, the Code for Acceptance of Construction Quality of Masonry Structures clearly stipulates that its height should be 150. So why does the Code for Acceptance of Construction Quality of Masonry Structures say it should be 150? Should means a recommendation, right? It's a non-mandatory clause. The consideration for 150 is what? In the future, after the ground is finished, tiles will be laid on top. At this place, a joint of different materials will be formed, which may form a penetrating crack. Therefore, it considers setting the height of the upstand to 150. Then later, when we attach the skirting line, its height can exactly cover this crack. However, this measure consideration ignored the leakage problem. That is to say, with the feedback from owners in recent years. If it is 150, it will cause leakage and mold. So the industry trend now is to return to 200. For the crack problem here, we can take other measures to avoid and circumvent it. So everyone can consider whether 150 is more suitable or 200 is more suitable. And are 150 and 200 calculated from the structural surface or the architectural surface? Welcome everyone to discuss, communicate, and learn.